Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from Am I the A-Hole? Story 1 is by Throw R.A. Papo. Am I the a-hole for excluding my niece from my son's birthday party after she ruined his first party? Last week, I hosted my son James's 9th birthday party at my parents' house. I paid for and organized the whole event. We just had to use my parents' place because our house was being renovated. My parents had agreed and said they had no problems. I had invited James's closest friends from school and football club for the party, and 2 of his cousins from his dad's side that he's very close with. James had made it clear he wanted a friends-only party, and I was okay with it. However, the day before, my sister Linda called me, angry that her daughter Ava, 11, was not invited. I tried to explain that it wasn't a party for family members. Also, James wasn't very close to Ava. She is still a bit spoiled and always picks fights with James whenever they're made to play together. Linda didn't want to listen and cried that Ava was having a hard time making friends in school, and it didn't help if her own cousin was excluding her. I felt sorry, but I didn't relent, and Linda cut the call. She then called Mom, and they tried to convince James behind my back. He also said no and told me. My parents apologized, and I thought that was it. Fast forward to the party date. I have everything arranged and the party is going well. Halfway through it, Linda arrives with Ava, and my parents say they will end the party early if I don't let Ava join. I reluctantly did. James was upset, but I told him to ignore her and enjoy the time with his friends. Ava tried joining the games, but would get upset and scream if she lost, and Linda would make the kids restart. Obviously, the kids lost interest and stopped playing, and it upset James. They tried playing football, but since Ava couldn't play, she constantly interrupted them. They went to the living room to play Xbox. Ava failed a few rounds and got angry and left. Nothing worked for her, and James didn't care. After a few hours, I took the kids to cut the cake, only to find Ava had thrown it to the floor and was crying at the table because everyone was mean to her. This was the final straw, and James started screaming at her. He called her a loser and evil and started crying because his party was ruined. Linda was upset and asked James to apologize. I stepped in and told Linda to take Ava and get out. My parents stepped in and told me James was out of line and Ava was just a kid. I was so angry that I just ended the party altogether and told Linda her daughter has no friends because she's a brat. I called my husband and we all took the kids to McDonald's and got a different cake for James to cut there. I took pics and posted them to Facebook as well. Since then, I've received calls and texts from Linda calling me a B-word and a-hole for excluding Ava, and she's been demanding James apologize. My parents have berated me as well and are angry because James now refuses to speak to them. I'm not sure if James should apologize, and I don't want to either. We did nothing wrong, and I won't tolerate anyone ringing my son's birthday. But perhaps I should have invited Ava? So I don't know. Am I the a-hole? James is 9. Ava is 11, and they're telling James he should apologize and that Ava's just a child? He's the younger child here. She threw his cake on the floor because she was mad, and she was saying everybody was being mean to her. Linda and Ava were not invited. James's friends from school were invited. I'll never understand why some family members feel the need to just show up uninvited when you're told, no, sorry, you can't come. Sorry, no, this is just a friends from school thing. The other side of it to me, though, is that they showed up to the party. You let them stay, but then you told James to completely ignore her. And so people probably tried to, and they were more mean to her maybe because of it. But it sounds to me like Linda is super entitled and she's letting her child behave in an entitled way too. Just because there's a party going on in a family does not mean you have to go. Down in the comments by Antique Ad. Not the a-hole, and in my opinion, I think the people who owe James the biggest apology are the grandparents. They threatened to end the party early if the cousin wasn't allowed in. And look what happened. She's a spoiled brat who can't control her impulses, and the parents don't care. At least you know now to never have a party in the environment you don't either own as your own home or control as the paid place. As for your son yelling at her for ruining his cake, I'm surprised he didn't try to do more than yell. And your son is very justified not to talk to your parents both or that cousin again. Maybe if Linda would parent her child and teach her some stuff, she would be able to make friends. If this is how she acts, why would anyone want to be around her? You saved the party as best you could, and I would definitely talk to your parents about the fact that they have no right to demand who comes to your son's party, even if it's their house. Our next story is by Not Active for Long. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my nephew since he thought it was only his house? Okay, so I'm 25 female and my nephew is 20. This all happened a few weeks ago, but here's some backstory. Me and my nephew grew up together, and I took care of him for most of my childhood and teen years. Even though we're 5 years apart, I still had to take care of him, and I never really minded. He's family, and I care for him a lot, but growing up he would steal my stuff and not give it back, or give it back ruined or damaged. Instead of him getting in trouble, it was always me getting in trouble since I was the oldest. Since he had a rough childhood, I had to let him do whatever he wanted. I honestly did not like that because I raised him the best I could being a teenager and didn't have a choice. I had to clean, I had to cook for him, and it made me upset. But that's in the past. Currently I have an apartment and I needed help paying rent, and my nephew offered to live with me and pay some rent. His college is a 10-minute drive away from there, and where we used to live it's like a 40-minute drive, so he moved in with me. At first he was paying it, and then slowly he stopped paying it. Obviously, I let him know that he does have to pay rent and that he should pay me soon, and he never did. He just said that since I'm his aunt and I'm older, I have to pay for everything for him, which pisses me off. I know that I didn't raise him to be like that. I found out that he was doing certain things that he wasn't supposed to do. I also found out he's been stealing money from my room. He doesn't give me money for anything, he just goes to school and stays in my apartment rent-free, and I can't support both of us. I've told his mom about it and my mom, and all they told me is that I should support him and give him money since I'm his aunt. I have money, but I can barely afford rent, and they want me to give him money, just so he can go spend it? Like, no? I told him that he has to get a job or he can't live with me. Then he threatened to kick me out of my own apartment. So I snapped and I kicked him out. I threw his clothes out and told him not to come back. Most of my family doesn't want to talk with me right now. They're mad at me, and my cousins are the only one talking to me. The rest of the family is not. Am I the a-hole? You're 5 years older than him. So you may be his aunt, but you're not a whole lot older than him, and he is old enough to get a job and pay rent. He's an adult. He's old enough to not have an aunt taking care of him that just happens to be 5 years older. You guys are pretty much the same age. This is ridiculous. You should have never let him come stay with you, and what is wrong with your family thinking that you're in the wrong for kicking him out? He can leave. I'm sure he'll figure it out really quick out there. Or he won't. Maybe he'll never figure it out, but he'll find somebody else to mooch off of. Our next story is by Babysitter Snacks. Am I the a-hole for telling my son's babysitter to not give him any snacks? My son is 5 and he has a babysitter that's 20 that picks him up from school every day, takes him to soccer, tutoring, swim, etc., then takes him home and does his homework until we get home. We were grocery shopping and my son picked up a box of Capri Suns and asked if he could have it because it was his favorite. I asked him where he was getting it from, and he said his babysitter has bins full of snacks in her car, and he gets to pick out whatever he wants when she picks him up from school or practice. I had him point out whatever else his babysitter was giving him, and it was almost all processed crap. She's been giving him chocolate granola bars, fruit snacks, bags of chips, goldfish, and applesauce. I texted the babysitter and asked her about this, and she said that my son is always hungry after school and practice, and this is easier than stopping to buy him a snack. I told her I don't want her to give him snacks anymore, and she said she'd be happy to do that if I pack an after-school snack and send it to school with him, because she doesn't have the time to take him home and grab a snack before his activities. I told her it would only be a couple hours and she can have him wait until they get home, but she said she will not be working with a hangry 5-year-old for 2 to 4 hours. So I could pick up a snack, she could give him a snack, or she could quit. I told my husband about this, and he said it's fine, and it's not like he eats much better at our house. He gets a lot of these things as an occasional treat, and that none of what she gives him is that bad. I told him I expect more for how we pay her. She gets $25 an hour, but he still says she's doing nothing wrong. He even texted the babysitter saying to ignore her, she's doing fine, and to send him the receipts for the snacks so he could reimburse her. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to feed my son crap every day? That list of snacks is not that bad. Applesauce is actually good for you unless it's super sugary, and he's 5. He's 5, and you have him going to school all day, soccer, tutoring, swim, etc. I don't even want to know what etc. is. You have him doing so much stuff, which is good and kind of bad too. You're pretty much an absent parent. So yeah, if somebody who's babysitting your kids doesn't want an angry child and gives him a snack after school, or in between his strenuous little 5-year-old activities, who cares? He's being taken good care of, and he's very healthy by the sounds of it. He's a very active 5-year-old. And if you wanted to, you could pay for and pack some, celery sticks, some fruit, or something to send with him, but you chose not to. You chose to give the babysitter attitude instead because she didn't starve your 5-year-old after school. And again, just the other day there was a story about how this teenager wanted grandma to start dinner immediately after school, and she said, no, have a snack and wait a couple hours. Yes, you can go without food for quite some time, but the babysitter has to deal with this kid every single day. And if he's mad because he's hungry because he's 5, that's not good. Let her take care of him if you're just going to be an absent parent. Down in the comments by Frosty Ice Princess. You're the a-hole. Seems normal to me that he'd get a little hungry after school, after soccer and swim practice. Maybe talk to the babysitter and you can agree on a healthy snack to give him. Examples. Kid gets a snack, but it has to be a healthy snack. Chips? No. A banana? Yes. A peanut butter sandwich? Yes. Do more to select his snacks, or butt out. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a well-fed day.